Okay, so to my weapon of choice for sim racing, it's the Xbox Elite controller, and I did a review on this a while ago actually. You might have seen it, but just briefly, because this is more about techniques rather than the controller itself, but I really do think if you're really interested in trying sim racing, and you don't really want to go down the expensive route of the wheel, give yourself the best chance with a decent controller. I'm not saying this will guarantee you anything, but for me the difference between this and the standard type controllers is quite significant, primarily because of the extra control I think you have in the thumbstick. It's a lot smoother, so you can have a bit more control. It's the same with the triggers. They're very gradual, and you do need that in games particularly like iRacing, where every bit of input really is measured in the game. So yeah, I think this controller is a really good option. You can also customize it to how you want. You might want a thumbstick that's a bit higher. This is quite a low down one, but you easily take it out. It's magnetic. Pop in a much higher one. Not for me really, but it might be for others. So at least you have that choice. When we're talking about actual techniques, so steering is obviously a major one, and for me, I find that in a lot of these races it can be quite tense. You don't want to make a mistake, pressure situations, so you might be holding the controller quite hard, but you want to try and be as relaxed as possible. And something I found that really helps is when you are finding that you might be a little bit tense, before you steer into a corner, definitely use the forward motion. It's not actually doing anything to the speed or anything. It's obviously controlled with the triggers, but this allows you to sort of release a bit of pressure that you might be feeling in your hand, in your thumb, and you're actually just letting that pressure go nowhere, and you can really gradually steer at that point. So you're using a lot of pressure, so you might be feeling tense. You might think, if I've just got it like that, I'm just gonna really go too much, whereas if you've got it there, that's kind of locked in, and then it's a very gradual movement, and I find that really helps. So maybe give that a try. The other thing is on the braking. So both in iRacing and Formula One, you really do want to do that trail braking. So that's where you brake from top speed at full power, full maximum brake, and then you're just easing off gently before the wheels lock up, all measured in your mind with reference points on the track to where you really want to start that initial brake, and then the kind of speed that that the car's going to start locking up a bit. So you want to ease off gradually, and then as soon as you can get the power down, you obviously want to be doing that, and you can do that gradually, or as soon as you feel you've got traction back on the full power. So, and of course it'll differ if you're using different assists. For example, in Formula One, traction control and anti-lock brakes will sort of change this. I don't use any form of anti-lock brakes in Formula One, so the technique is quite important. And for traction, yeah, you have choice in Formula One. In iRacing, pretty sure you don't. So I've not seen traction control or anything in iRacing, but some cars might have it. But the other thing with braking technique is it's again about trying to get, for me anyway, trying to get the pressure you might be feeling in your hand to not play as much of a role. So if for example you're just braking, like if I'm holding the controller like this traditionally, with my fingers like that, kind of covering the trigger, you're feeling tense, and there's the tendency to overuse that finger, if you like, and not have as much control over it as you want. So a similar technique that I use to the thumb is actually where I line my finger up flat against the controller, kind of like that, and you can see there, that's where I'm applying pressure. So maybe I can show you a bit like that. So the pressure I'm feeling is kind of like there. So, and you'll have to see what works best for you, but if you've got the pressure there, it's kind of like that. When you're braking, you're just using this part of your finger, and because this controller is so good and gradual, you can get the maximum pressure that you want very gradually, and you can see where it's sort of going white, that's where the pressure is. So again, it's about trying to get that pressure coming through into the controller there, so you're not actually, if you're holding it traditionally like that, all of the pressure you're trying to control through this part of the finger is quite a lot, and to do that successfully for quite a few laps in a pressure situation isn't really that easy. So that's what works for me. So braking with the finger on the maximum pressure kind of there, and finger it's just this part really. Never really had an issue with the accelerator, that's however you would want, but really those are my two main tips for controlling pressure through your fingers, and the rest of it it's really just practice and whatever works for you, and hopefully you'll see some improvement. It may feel weird if you try some of these techniques to start with, but give it a go, you've got nothing to lose. And yeah, definitely recommend this controller. So I hope you found this video helpful and some of the techniques useful. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe. I've got plenty more videos coming up, so yeah, watch this space. Thanks for watching.